Um, for the rest of you, though, however, you have been trying to fend off trogs as each one of you, they want to either touch one of you, ask you a question, or they're just making nonsensical assumptions, such as like, the angels. I hear they live in places high in the sky, and sometimes that's where the rain comes from. Cause see, they cry, and that's where rain. I don't think that's where rain comes from. And just like various different things about each of you, which you can either choose to encourage or dismiss.
Yeah, curiosity will chime in. Actually, we live underground. We do not live in the sky.
To which both trogs that are talking look at you like you're crazy. You have wings. You live in the sky. You don't live. No, Trog live underground. You don't live underground. Big folk don't live under there.
That's why we glow in the dark, so we can navigate underground. Although I have lived in a flying city for a little bit.
They both look at each other and look back at you. What is glow?
You know how fire gives off light? That is what glowing is.
What is light?
Do you know what fire is?
You see some eyes twitching.
I flare up my wings to like make a shadow around myself, and then I just like make my hand glow as brightly as possible.
They watch your wings, and then they look confused. I think this one's head is broken. Maybe he did live underground. No, can't be broken. He helped with yellow squishies. But look it, he tried to fly but can't. He talk about light and glow.
I can fly. Then I indignantly start to fly to prove that I can fly.
Some of them look very impressed. Those two, however, still say, nah, his head just broken. As you're flying, however, that is when the mayor approaches. And you see the familiar small frame with white hair, the long Azamar ears, and the small red rose tucked into her hair. And she approaches you all. Hello? I'm glad you all seem to be safe.
Is this Miss Heartgaze or somebody
Miss
else?
Heartgaze.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
it's Mayor Heartgaze.
Miss Heartgaze, I'm so glad that you are all right. The chief here would like to broker a trade deal and possibly a joining of the Blue Scales with Zagata.
Well, I mean, may I speak to you for a moment aside from ears?
Of course, my lady.
She takes you aside. Behind her guards, Gorm, you now rejoined your party. As the mayor takes you aside, and she's sufficiently convinced of no eavesdropping, she says to you, my captain tells me that these troglodytes, that they're desiring a trade deal with you, and that they seem to know you, but I thought you assured me you dealt with the Trogs in the cave.
Dealt with in that they would no longer steal lemons from you, and that they agreed to leave peacefully. Um, they are now returning the favor, as it were, by helping to defend the city as well.
But you sort of lied to me. That wasn't what I hired you to do.
Oh, did you not hire us to get rid of the Trogs? They were gotten rid of. The manner of getting rid of was up for debate. That, and it quickly became apparent that they were being used as well. Apparently by the same one who used the city.
Nevertheless, these creatures have returned, and they are simple and dangerous. I don't know if my people will agree to something like this. The very idea of trading with lesser creatures.
Of that I understand, my dear. But they do have information that would save the city. Do you remember Lelora?
Of course I remember her. I can't spend a day not thinking of her.
She plans to attack the city. I'm not sure how. The Blue Scale tribe outside, the Troglodytes, seem to know what she plans to do and are willing to offer their assistance in return for trade and being able to live in, like, say, tents and whatnot outside the city.
But from what I understand, your only proof of this is what the chief says. How do you know he's not simply lying just to gain access to our town?
Call it more of a good faith deal, my dear. We treated his tribe with kindness, and he saw through our deception. His underlings, however, did not. We tried to get them to step away from the cave for their own safety and to return to their tribe safely without stealing anything else. And he is here returning that favor because we saved their life, and he understands a good deed deserves reward.
I don't know what I'm going to tell my people. If we agree to this, and I don't expect you to know this because you left. I decided to tell the town of the mayor's murder after you left and after the hunters were gone, so that, the pain would be masked by the festival. But the people are still reeling from it. It's helped that I told them that the murder was solved and that we would find that the person had simply fled, and that as soon as we found them, they would stand trial. Better that way, so that there's not loose threads. But, well, now the troglodytes that plagued them a week ago and stole from them. Now I'm going to ask them, on top of their mayor being dead, as a new assistant mayor, and less than only being a mayor, I believe, for a week and a half, to just accept creatures that we've always assumed and have always had trouble with. They were nothing but mindless thieves.
This is where I would lean towards the redemption of the light. But I understand your position. These troglodytes, however, do wish to trade and no longer steal. That is something to consider as well.
Roll persuasion.
Wow, really? Could have been so much worse and could have been so much better at the same time.
1, 2, 3.
And it equals 11.
I'll speak with him, but I'm not making any promises.
That is all I ask. At least hear him out, and enter negotiations because he would like answers quickly. He would also like the trade deals and whatnot to be in his favor, but of course, that's why deals are. That's why I said that talks should go underway as quickly as possible. I don't want the city to come under any harm or any destruction, and I wish to have us as strong as possible.
Of course, but you do understand the position you've put me in. Either deal with the Trogs or be slaughtered by something.
I know. It is. Think of it more as not dealing with the Trogs, but dealing with a potential ally. That way, it will be a little bit more palatable if you treat them like an ally, because they could bolster the ranks of guards and whatnot in the city.
Don't say that in front of Waylon.
I won't.
Very well, let's get this over with. I'm probably going to lose my career, but maybe we won't be killed by phantoms. I'm beginning to hate my job.
Well, it's a good thing that she stepped aside with Aerie, otherwise Curiosity would have had major problems with her.
Yeah, so would Vinda.
Yeah. Also, when Gorm got back, he was just like, "Why did you go to the Trogs?" You know, just asking why you didn't wait.
And Aerie will just kind of look at him and go, "Curiosity, my dear Gorm. Curiosity."
So it's your fault. No one's dead, anyways.
To answer your question, Curiosity, after you have this exchange, Leader puffs up his chest again. He stabs his spear into the ground and says, "Yes, Leader saw a golden leader. Was quite tall, handsome, big. So, Leader decided he needed to be big to lead, to be like Golden Leader. So, Leader went and trained. Then Leader got big," and he sort of smiles and he puts his arm up and to sort of make a gun pose, and he just kind of smiles, almost like a "we can do it" poster towards you.
Oh, that is a very effective training regimen.
Yes, soon I'll have other Trog be big, but they whine too much, can't be big. You see some of the Trogs in front just kind of groan and roll their eyes at him. At this point, Heartgaze and Aerie return. Aerie, introduce us.
Trying to remember the name of the Trog. Was it Chief or Leader or?
Chief is the older one. Leader is the bigger buff one.
All right. Aerie will walk up to the chief and will bow nobly, graciously. My dear chief, this is Mayor Hotgaze. She is the leader, the mayor, the chief, as it were, of Zagata.
You introduce with name. You chief with name. To which Mayor Hotgaze says, "Well, yes, of course. How else would you distinguish me from other chiefs?" And the older chief goes, very brave, very good to show. So I show. Chief, here, chief, other chief. Chiefs call me Odalip. Odalip, you say?
Spelling, please.
Chief Odalip, it's a pleasure to meet you. My friends here tell me that you are interested in a trade deal with my people. To which Chief Odalip nods and speaks out. Blue scale tribe. Like lemons, you call them, yes? Which Heartgate sort of just eyes you, airy.
That is correct.
Trog call. Yellow squishy. Trog like squishy. Actually, Chief no care for yellow squishy, but makes Trog happy, so you know. Yes. But must steal yellow squishy if want to have. Chief think this is important taste to friends. So we trade. Trog build. Trogs dig. Trogs protect. What else do Trogs do? And leader looks up and he says, Trogs get big. Ah, Trogs get big. But Trog also come across shiny things. Things that big folk need. To which he pulls out from under his coat a rock that is, as he holds it up, has a gleaming yellow glint to it. In mixed with like what looks like marble red rock, kind of entwined with it. To which Waylon and those of you who recognize the stone have his eyes go large. Give me a culture check. Anyone can give me this.
I assume only if you have
I am
culture.
staring at my boots or something.
Or will intelligence work?
Intelligence will work.
I do have one stunt point.
It has 4.
The dice are being interesting.
Bramble, you can just roll an intelligence if you like.
Okay.
I'm distracted by something else. I know what that something else is, but I'm not saying what it is to anybody.
Alright, anyone who rolled an 11, or above an 11, you can tell that this is uncut, unrefined gold. Just as though it had been taken from a mine somewhere. Chief holds it up, and as he holds it up higher, it gleams in the sunlight. It sort of seems to shimmer and shine. Waylon's eyes are immediately drawn, and he looks between it and Mayor Heartgaze. So Lishmere says, where did you find that? Trog Chief gives it a little bit of a slight smile. Trog dig. Trog know where more this is. We'll trade for your yellow squishy. Then he tucks the rock away in his coat. But Trog must be treated like big folk, not like rat or vermin. He emphasizes the word, and he kind of leans in as he says it. To which the mare sort of swallows and stands a little bit taller, pulling her green coat down. But she nods, listening. So, Trog live outside city, like tent folk. Trog no me do be inside. Well, maybe little Trogs, but Chief no Trog not welcome. Not now, but later. For now, we wander, we go, we do what we want, but come back, we trade with big folk. And big folk trade with us. Big folk not shoot, not throw, not spit at Trog. You just see the Mare Heartgaze looks between you, Aerie, and then she looks to all of the rest of you, sort of seeming to look for input on what she should say next.
Curiosity smiles and nods enthusiastically, like this is a great idea.
It could be the beginning.
Winter joins him.
Been the two.
Could be the beginning of a very new and interesting relationship, Mayor Hotgaze. I advise to take it. If that shiny rock is of any importance to you, then that is definitely something that they could barter with. And if they are bartering, why not treat them respectfully, like you would any business transaction, any business partner?
She thinks for a moment, and she looks at Waylon. You can see he's kind of biting his lip. I guess he's thinking about that gold eyeing the pocket that the chief put it back in. He looks back at the mayor. I mean, if that endeavor you're proposing is going to work out, then we're going to need more money. I don't trust these creatures, but it couldn't hurt to at least, maybe hear them out. Maybe see if there's a way to know if they're legitimate or not. To which the mayor then, she looks at Tila, who is still staring at Bramble and picking up pieces of his leaves and examining them. But then when she realizes she's being stared at, she puts it back down and looks straight up at the mayor. Oh, yes, I've been listening. Don't worry. I don't really think that anything bad comes. These chaps seem like they're decent enough. You could at least... I honestly don't have an opinion. I don't think that they're very dangerous. Sorry, this isn't... I don't really care. To which Mayor Heartgaze just sort of face palms. Chief Odalip, you have put me in a difficult position, but your offer seems fair, but I must predicate that it is going to be on a condition that I trust you. Chief looks up. Kun. To which she continues, a condition. You say that there is something that the lady has sent to harm us all. Very well. If you stand and face this force, and it is proven to be true, I will agree to setting down an establishment for trade between Zagata and the Trogs. and you see some of the Trogs start cheering and get excited, but then the chief, kind of sensing sort of a butt coming, he silences them quickly. You see a lot of them sadly put their head back down. But if your claims prove to be false and there's no danger coming to us, you will be banished from us, as you will be brandished as untrustful people whom we will destroy upon sight. Is that understood? This leader kind of picks his head up, squints his eyes a little bit, and leader comes in down, and you hear him whisper something fiercely, and the two of them converse for a moment. But then leader sort of smacks, or chief starts to sort of smack the leader on the chest and kind of tells him to go away. Trog, agree. Trog will prove. Big folk will see. Trog not lie. Trog is truthful. To which the mayor sort of breathes a sigh of relief, and she says, very well. Now with that out of the way, why don't you tell us what this danger is? Ari, I'm sure you can handle whatever danger might be.
I can at least attempt at it. If not, I can definitely assess and figure out what we need to acquire so that we can face this danger. If it is as big as I think it might be, we may be in for a interesting time, shall we say.
Very well. Go on, Chief. To which the Chief Overlip comes in. He kind of ushers leader to the side for a moment, and then he gestures towards everyone on Light's Arsenal. He gestures towards Heartgaze and Attila and to and to Waylon, and he sort of invites you to step away, sort of out of earshot of the other troglodytes. And he starts heading off in that direction. To which Tila, she grins and crookedly walks Bob behind him, and she begins to start quizzing him on where he learned to speak and how he knows so many things and where he heard the word lemon and all of these different things. Heartgaze converses with Waylon. She eyes the two of you, Curiosity and Ari, and then she nods and she heads off with them as well. Leader stays behind, and you can see him. He begins addressing the other trogs and giving some orders.
Ari is following the chief and everybody else.
What the rest of you doing?
Gorm is just quiet. He does not like this.
Well, I guess someone should go tell the farmer that it's safe for him to bring his cart in. I'm assuming he stayed behind, right? Or did he come with us? Because he didn't.
As you say this, now looking around, you see that his cart has wound all the way around you guys and is halfway to the city, and he seems to be sort of like tucked behind a rock, peeking out, staring at you all.
I'll go.
I wave at him enthusiastically and try to give him a thumbs up.
He waves back at you and thumbs up back and stays behind the rock.
Gorm just starts walking after having said that.
Okay. If there's any conversations you guys want to have real quick, you can go ahead and do so. But then we're going to skip over to where you guys go talk to him.
We can just fill Kylar in what happened. So Tila was the other person who was out there.
Oh.
And the Trogs were looking for Golden Leader, which was Aerie and the rest of us. And Vinda flew over there as a bird and overheard that and then came back and told us. And then we eventually decided to go meet the Trogs to see what they wanted to tell us. And basically they had information about Lilor's/Lady's plans to attack the city or some unknown threat or something that they wanted to barter in exchange for being able to trade lemons and not be treated like vermin. And you missed the chief guy's awesome voice.
Cool.
Also, if you're looking on Roll20, you notice the big one in the middle. That is Leader. He was the leader of the Trogs that were at the cave that we spared. He was the actual leader that we had let go.
And he apparently found magic steroid/training regimen to become giant and buff because he was inspired by Aerie.
Which is hilarious because probably even him at his height, at his maximum height, is probably not even half what Aerie's height is.
Alright, so with that, you guys all find your way back. You guys find your way over, and to which you form sort of a little, like, Council of Elrond circle, as Chief sort of sits at the top of it, in the sand with his legs crossed. He puts his staff across his legs. And you see Leader stands as tall as he possibly can, which is to say, like, his head is above Tila's waist. He stands tall, makes himself look as big and as buff as possible behind his chief. Chief Odalip invites all of you to sit like he is.
Aerie will sit.
Bramble will sit.
Tila immediately sits wherever Bramble is.
Curiosity sits down.
Yeah, Harmony will sit. Why not? Unless you guys maybe not be part of the group when I'm off dying somewhere.
No, you're here. You're here.
Yay.
No, we kept you in the action. We just kind of lumped you and Curiosity up into one ball, and I made puns.
Heartgaze cautiously comes, but she sits between the chief and Aerie, sort of be in the middle of things. Wayron does not. He goes up, he stands behind Heartgaze, and he stands the entire time. Winter, what are you doing?
I'm sitting down beside Curiosity and Harmony.
And Vinda?
Is the cat still on Curiosity's shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sit on his other shoulder.
As soon as you do, you sort of have invaded his privacy. The shoulders belong to him as far as he's concerned. And Rafi, who was comfortably sitting with his curl tailed over on the other side of the shoulder he was not sitting on, immediately recoils the tail, and he looks over you past Curiosity's head, and you hear this, Curiosity, you hear it loudly in your own ear, this sound as you sit and where his tail was.
What?
Sorry, Vinda. Don't be so rude, Rafi.
He kind of gives you a low growl, curls up tighter on your shoulder so that his entire body is on one shoulder, and he just stares daggers at Vinda.
Vinda, you are welcome on my shoulder if you wish.
Vinda is kind of in a staring match, I think. And kind of sits down with a huff. Still staring at Rafi.
As long as you stare at Raffi, Raffi stares back at you. Unmoving. Like only a cat familiar can.
Shall we see how long a fairy can?
I'm gonna have to make you roll throughout the conversation, aren't I? You all find your various seats. Chief Odolip, he once again clears his throat. Big folk, Trog, not have lot time, but time enough for story. To which leader just goes, Not. Young folk know lot story. Young Trog stupid. That's why I chief. Trog, not welcome by big folk. Big folk no like Trog. So Trog move. Move and move. Travel desert. Trog not disturbed. Only other creatures and other Trog to deal with. But one night, lady come, and she bring small leader. Small leader, not very wise, but very. And he kind of he points to Gorm. Like that one. Not seen, but there. Chief don't like small leader. But small leader work for lady. Lady come. She bring large amount gold. And to which he pulls out a single gold piece, which to those of you who are looking, you can see it bears the insignia of the Fade Dominion on it. And he holds it up and says, Big folk use this for trade, yes? And he hands it over to you, Ari.
That we do. Interesting. And Ari will accept it and examine it.
Lady, promise. Many more for that. All Trog do is dig. Now, what are Trogs good at? He kind of looks at the audience for suggestions.
Digging?
Yes, that sea leader, that one smart. Digging, yes. Lady know this, so lady promise many of those for digging. So Trog dig. Chief send favorite leader go. He dig with Trogs. Leader, what you tell me? To which the leader, Chef puffed up again, says, We dig for lady, but lady never happy. So she sends small leader. Small leader never happy. Never find what small leader want. Find big stone man. Find big stone wall. But not what small leader wanted.
Wait, I have an out-of-character question.
Yes.
So when he says small leader, does he mean like leader but when he was not buff, or does he mean like the imp? Because like, were they calling him Boss Man before? But
Yeah. You get the feeling that they're probably talking about Boss Man. It seems that they seem to sort of like and as you're talking them and you're getting, and you've spent a lot of time with them, it seems that the vocabulary of the bigger two in charge ones seems to be different from the ones from the like common trogs.
okay.
They seem to and as you're talking, they seem to think that they're making it more clear to you, whereas it's not. But in their minds, this is a more clear. It's like adding titles to people.
It's very clear how
seem to
many
refer to
pieces of
people-
gold they're going to be getting.
They seem to refer to the titles more than names.
Yeah, and you're definitely picking up on that. Like, titles seem to be a kind of a big deal in their tribe. So, leader, not find what lady wants. So, leader, come back to chief. Chief, ask lady. Lady, no tell. Chief, what lady want? Just to dig, and that not found. But lady did say to chief, many more of those pieces to Trog, if Trog help. Spooky army, come and get rid of big folk. Do you know what? And every time he says it, he looks between you all like he's telling you a secret, leans in and whispers, Spooky army is.
Maybe you can tell us.
So leader laughs. Ha! See, Chief, I told you, their brain's not smart like ours. Ah! Maybe they just not know. No, see, I know, and I smart. No, I told you, that not make you smart. The spooky army. Lady promise she sent Ogaluth and their bone giant to wipe out Big Folk Town. So, Trog say yes. Cause Trog say yes, cause lady, spooky lady, and Trog don't like big folk. Trog. Big folk mean to Trog. So, Trog chief say yes. But then you come. And at this point, he looks to you, Airy, and to you, Winter, and Curiosity, and Vinda, and Gorm, and all the rest of you. You come. You find leader. Leader still not find what lady want. But you no kill leader. You help leader. You tell leader to go. Though big folk never like Trog. So Chief, and he taps his temple as he says this, Chief starts thinking, maybe not all big fug mean. Maybe not all big fug die. So Chief think, maybe we help big folk. Maybe we ask lady not to kill big folk. but lady never come back. Never bring the many pieces. So, chief figure out. Even though leader says, big folk promise lady come back. Chief know better. Lady was spooky. Lady no like big folk, not like us. She no like them. So chief learn. Chief decide come back and find golden leader and his people and help them fight Ogre Luth and their bone giant. And that is Chief story. What do you think, leader? Good story? As good as you told last time, Chief. Yes, indeed.
Would I know anything about what the Ogre Loof is? I'm kind of guessing I know what the Bone Giant is, or at least I can piece it together.
If you are trained in cultural lore or religious lore, you can go ahead and roll and see if you know.
Also, Curiosity says, "You're a very good storyteller, Chief."
Chief nods his head to you with a slight bow. Chief know that why this I is Chief. You come, Chief. You tell good story.
Is he the only one? I thought someone else had cultural lore.
I have historical lore and research.
I do.
I have arcane and natural lore.
Winter does.
Okay, you can go ahead and roll. And historical lore, I will give you that. That will probably apply. So you can roll that as well. Okay. Winter. You are actually familiar with this term. It's a term. It's a word you've heard before when you were a kid. It was the term Ogoluth was used to describe small demons, less intelligent than imps, not as powerful, but similar in size. You know this because an Ogoluth was something you were told as a kid would come and eat you if you disobeyed your parents or did other various things. It was always just a creature used to frighten children, as they're almost like the demon's version of a goblin, but being as it's a demon, it's worse.
Oh, when Winter, anytime he mentions the name, she kind of gives this look of fear and confusion because she's always thought of it as more like a fairy tale than anything.
Ha ha ha, Vinda.
Well then, does anyone have any idea as to what the Ogre Loof is?
Winter looks at Ari. Well, when I was younger, my parents, well, my mom, and the other adults would tell stories of them. They're like a demon, and they eat children at night. Well, at least that's what they told us. I'm not sure if that part's true, but they're not good. they're bad.
Ari gives each one of the party, Lights Arsenal, a grave look. Is almost concerned. More demons, it appears.
Mayor Heartgaze, who's been silent this whole time, just listening. And then after you speak, she looks to you between you, Airy, and Winter, and all the rest of you. Then, if this is true, well, I don't think the Trogs will be enough to just fend them off. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask for your help as well.
Well, of course we're going to help.
Of course, Miss Mayor Heartgaze. I could not stand by and let my people have any or be hurt by any of this.
Well, I certainly hope so, as we will need. And then as she speaks, she gets cut off by the chief, who jumps up and to his legs, picking the staff up and holding it in his hand and says, "You must not talk now. See, lady told, when moon comes up, then Oga Luth and Bone Monster come back. Bone Giant, lead them in. They come. We must return to Trogs and stand and fight. Trogs can handle. Trogs can fight. Trogs don't need help. But would like the Golden Leader for help? Then we prove to big folk Trog strong. Yes?" Leader, again, perking up and getting bigger as much as he can. Us. Trog strong, leader stronger. We be strong. We will defeat Ogalus.
So the attack is going to happen tonight.
Leader slowly nods his wrinkled head. Yes, yes, young one. That is why Trog come now.
Curiosity looks at the sky where evening is approaching them.
Yeah, the Sunasta's basically going down now, and the two moons are beginning to rise.
I need arrows.
In that case, I do suggest we return to the city walls and make the city fast and defensible now. Mayor Hotgaze, Winloon, I suggest you guys get inside the city walls now.
Yes, of course. Wayren, I need you to gather up the men and fortify the city as much as we can. We'll bar the gates, giving them enough time to fight off the Ogaluth. Wayren, I also want you to show them the secret entrance in case they need to retreat. To which Wayren gets up and says, "Mayor, I'm not letting those creatures know. I didn't tell you to tell the creatures. Inform Aretheus and Harmony. They will be able to bring them back. And if those creatures require if the troglodytes require our aid and a time to retreat, we will allow this. This is, of course, barring on the proof that their story is real, but I won't risk their lives if it is." Fine, whatever. Yes, Mayor, I will take care of it. Very well. Tila, will you come with me? I think you may be of assistance in helping get the city prepared. To which Tila, who has also been mostly silent throughout this, she stands up and looks to all of you. But of course, I would be happy to help Sagata, unless you all are in need of my aid.
AKA Harmony, how's your health?
I'm good. I'm only missing 2 hit points. I'm fine. I'm gonna look at Chief. So you troglodytes are good at digging. You think there's enough time to maybe dig some pit traps?
Trap. Like for animal?
Yeah. If we know where they are and the enemy doesn't, trap them in there. I don't know if you don't think there's enough time, then don't do it. But it was just a thought.
Moon's coming soon. And Trognight bring shovels. Just swords and spears.
Okay, never mind.
But good thinking, Black Angel.
Yeah, you also missed the part where the troglodytes think that we live in the sky and that our tears is where the rain comes from.
Awesome.
Gorm is probably bugging guards about trying to requisition some arrows and bolts.
So, Captain, you were going to show me and Airy something?
Bramble would second that on the arrows.
Yes, apparently I am, and yes, of course, I will fetch you arrows. Guard!
And bolts.
He summons one of his guards. See to it that the archers are given everything that they require. And also, prepare the defenses of Zagata, and tell Lieutenant Travis to also await my orders to get the city ready. And the guard, Dominai soldier, salutes him and then quickly runs off. Yes, Harmony, Artheus, come with me. The rest of you, if you would go and prepare yourselves, I would kindly like not being watched as I'm showing the very secrets that keep our city safe. The eyeballs, Heartgaze, who just smiles at him in the kindest manner she can.
Come, Vinda, secrets.
The fairy too.
She will eventually, anyways. So, do you see this locket here? She likes to return to
I
it.
don't care.
Okay. In that case, lead the way.
And he starts walking off towards around the city gate. The rest of you, Heartgaze and Tila, lead back to where the other trogs are, who seems to be engaged in some sort of soccer, but with lemons. And that's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
Curiosity wants to shake the chief's hand.
How do you approach this?
I just walk up to him and say, "Hello, Chief. It is an honor to meet you. May I shake your hand, which is a traditional greeting? You may call me Curiosity, or if you prefer, Healer."
Healer. He reaches his hand out and just reaches it out. Like, not in a way to, like, shake, but, like, downward with the palm going down. Almost like you would kiss his hand or something.
I just grab it and, like, flip it and shake it.
He lets you. He doesn't do it. He doesn't, like, return it. He just sort of stares at you as you oddly shake his arm up and down. And later also stares, his head going up and down with every motion. And they both just stare at you like you have worms coming out of your ears.
Okay, I stop shaking his hand after I've shaken it sufficiently. And then I say, "You're a very wise chief."
Yes. Yes. I have been chief for many, 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 many moons. That get me wise. Wiser than leader. Leader never wise, like his mother.
Which leader just growls.
Well, just let me know if any of your people are sick and if they need a healer.
Trog no get sick. Trog are strong. Trog are strong. They scare sickness away.
Wow, that is very impressive.
Yes.
And he, leader nods and crosses his arms.
I don't even think that Harmony can do that.
Leader looks back as Harmony leaves with Rayron and Aretheus.
No, he's not as impressive as Gold Leader or Leader.
Alright, so the rest of you go back with the Trogs. Bramble and Gorm, you're given arrows and bolts. I'll say you are for the two of you, for arrows, you are given 30 arrows. And for bolts, you are given 20 bolts. You can divide those however you like. The rest, they say that their own men are going to need it in case your lines are broken. Harmony, Aretheus, and Vinda, you follow Waren to a secret entrance. He takes you to the other side of the wall, and you see you can see pictures of it. They're like little pillars that break up the walls, and he shows you one which is specifically marked by one of the nearby stones. It's a very small marking, and you couldn't really tell. You wouldn't know it was there unless you knew what you were looking for. But you see Aretheus, which you immediately recognize as a Domini symbol of subterfuge. And it's a small symbol of like two triangles stacked up on each other, and in the very center is a smaller, tinier triangle in the very center of all of the two of them put together. He points this out to you and says, "So that's how you know where the secret entrance is." And then there's in the design work of the pillar, there are little rectangular squares, just spaced out between each other. And they alternate between like a light red and a deep red. And he then puts his hand over two of the squares, and he stops on the second dark red square, and he pushes that in. And as he does, the pillar, which looks like just a support pillar, then opens up into a door that leads to a staircase that goes downward. He's like, and here's the secret entrance. It leads to our sewer. It's not the most pleasant of places, but it comes up from the back of the mansion, the mayor's mansion. So it's used as a way to either get the mayor out quickly or to get our soldiers back in quickly, whichever way we need to go.
So the mayor knew about this? Not Hardcase, but the previous mayor.
Oh, almost certainly.
Of course. You have the
Good
other
point.
side guarded.
I mean, it's in the mayor's office. It leads right. You've seen our vault. Our documents vault. At least the floor right below that, covered by a rug.
Well, Laura was close to the mayor, so if she found out about this, she might try to send troops underground to get into the city that way.
I mean, you're right. I thought about that, but to be honest, he'd have no reason to talk about it unless he had to escape. No one's really used this entrance for at least 500 years. Well, they might have used it when the cult was kidnapping kids, just to bring the kids in quietly. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
Have you checked it for troublesome creatures like I don't know, John's limes,
What?
the tunnels and stuff?
There's not time for that, Vinda. We'll have to worry about if there's anything lurking in there, but it probably would come up if we saw it. But anyway, out of character question, how many symbols are on this thing? On this pillar that I have to push buttons on?
So it just, if you don't know what you're looking for, it just looks like a very careful line of squares, and there's probably like 20 of them just lined up. It's part of a pattern that's on every single pillar, kind of like the square pattern of the little archway and the gate in the picture here, but instead of an archway, it's straight across the pillars.
Is the symbol that identifies the pillar like separate by itself, kind of, or is it intermixed
Yeah.
with things?
The symbol that identifies the pillar is off the side of the pillar.
Awesome.
Just-
Okay, I can still recognize that then. That's fine.
It's on the same level as the design. It's on the exact same level, but it's on the wall, not the pillar.
Cool. So, Captain, do you have anyone going up to the fort in case this turns into a siege type scenario?
I have 40 men in the entire town of Zagata. We're going to use most of them to support the gate. If that breaks through, we will run them up to Hightown, and we will bar ourselves and as many citizens as we can inside of the mayor's castle. Beyond that, if these creatures were any sort of intelligent, we could have, called for some guards a couple of days, weeks, maybe, in advance. As it is, we've got what we've got.
We'll make do with what we have, Captain. The light will show the way. Don't worry.
I hope you're right. I don't. My men and I, we handle giant scorpions. That's the biggest threat we have, other than the occasional bandit attack on a caravan. We are not prepared for this. We weren't prepared for the troglodyte problem. We weren't going to let them know that.
Well, at least they don't seem to be a problem right now.
For now. Until they decide they want to eat our innards or, I don't know, some other strange thing and desire that they have.
Oh yes, they'll still the lemons and then marinate us in the lemon juice.
I don't appreciate sarcasm.
Well, I don't appreciate that.
I do apologize, Captain, but in this time we shouldn't worry and complain. We should see about focusing and see if we can't make sure that people are uplifted and defended.
I'll leave the uplifting to the priests. I'm gonna take care of the defending.
So
Which are my... What?
Are the most of the men going to be bracing the gate up on top? Archers? What are we talking about here?
I'm probably gonna put 10 of our best archers up on top. The rest are gonna be bracing the gate. I might leave 5 or so to try and
keep this city somewhat calm. I'm mostly gonna have to rely, but I'm gonna have to rely on the Terra priesthood. Try and get them to calm people down. Most of them are druids, so maybe they'll be able to do something.
Well, good luck. I guess we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Hopefully after the battle's already done. Let me
I'm
check.
hoping that you guys are gonna take care of it on your own.
Yeah, maybe they'll rename the tavern then.
That could be quite interesting.
I hope not. We've already renamed it enough. And there's a fountain dedicated to those people.
Yeah, see, now we're going to diversify it anyway. Good luck, Captain.
Why do we always get these here? I'm glad they saved the day, but goodness, it means we have to change everything in the town. I might actually have to go by the days where I can complain about everything. That would be really sad. Anyway, I'm leaving.
Right.
Don't die.
I'll try not to.
Same to you, Captain. I hope you live to complain another day.
As I'm sure my wife does. He salutes y'all and then begins to leave for the inside the town.
I will say something, but I won't at the same time. I'll be nice.
How close is this and secret entrance to the main gate?
Probably like 100 feet from the main gate.
Okay, so it's clearly visible from the main gate area.
I mean, it's visible to you now that you know which pillar
Yeah,
it
so if we
is.
saw like an enemy going for the thing while we were defending the gate, we'd be able to see it, hypothetically. Awesome.
Yeah. But other than that, other than knowing where it is, it looks exactly the same as the rest. So it's pretty well hidden.
Cool.
Well, one other thing. So, you said bone giant. What if they come from another direction and rely on the giant to get over or through the wall rather than the gate?
Then it'll be a situation of we have to get to the bone giant or wherever he's attacking.
Well,
but he's got to come through the wall.
You should probably do that bird thing and fly up above the city. That way we'll know which direction they're coming from.
And then there's that, Vinda.
Okay.
Alright, with this, you guys go ahead and make your plans. We're going to take our 10-minute break here, because then we're going to get into some things. So, go ahead, take your break, talk amongst yourselves, get some planning strategies ready to go, so that when we come back, you can just tell me what you're going to do, and then just do it.
Yep, pretty much.
I'm going to stand nice and safe on the wall and shoot at stuff.
And I'll be right back.